Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm doing a election map prediction based on the election odds coming from the Polymarket site for the 2024 governor elections. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to look at the governor's map, pick out a governor's race, look at what the Polymarket odds have it at, and then assign the appropriate rating to the state. I'm also going to look at the polling data for the state if it does have any. So for example, we're going to start with the state of Washington. Washington on the Polymarket odds is actually right now 95% Democrat and 5% Republican. 95 Democrat, 5 Republican. So that's Washington. Now we're going to look at some polling data for the state of Washington. And that currently has Democrat plus 11 plus 13. That would be actually likely Democrat, but based on the Polymarket odds, where it is 95 to 5, that would be a safe Democratic state. Now we're going to look at the state of Montana, where Montana right now has 92% Republican, 2% Democrat. That would also be a safe Republican seat, whereas in the polling data for the state of Montana, right now that would have the Republican up 22 points. That would also be safe. So now we're going to go to the governor's map and assign Montana to the safe Republican column. Now we're going to do the same for the state of Utah. We're going to go to the state of Utah, where right now the Republicans have a 99% chance of winning. Democrats have 1% chance. Obviously, this would be safe. And looking at the polling data for the state of Utah, that has the Republican up either 40 to 21, an average of over 15 easily. That would also be a safe governor's race in Utah. Now we're going to go in North Dakota. North Dakota, on the Polymarket site, North Dakota currently has 97% Republican, 2% Democrat. The polling is going to look very similar to a safe call, I imagine. 30 points for the Republican over the Democrat. That's easily safe. North Dakota goes into the safe Republican column and tracks with the polling data. I'll also show briefly some election results in the end of the map after this as well. Now we'll go to the state of Missouri. In Missouri right now, the Polymarket has Republicans at 96, Democrats at 3, 96 to 3. The polling data in the state of Missouri currently has a Republican up 16, so that's actually safe as well, just by a very narrow margin. But Missouri also would be safe according to the site. Republicans have 4 governor's races done, Democrats have 1. Now we go to the state of Indiana. Indiana is actually a very interesting one. I find it. Indiana. First one I did, here it is. 93% for the Republican, 6% for the Democrat. There was a time when it was actually a very close race. Looks like around the middle of October. Now it's looking like Republicans are going to win Indiana very handily. According to the polling data in the state of Indiana, right now the Republican Mike Braun has a 9% lead. This would be a likely Republican state, not safe Republican state, but the Polymarket odds have it as safe Republican, so that it becomes safe Republican. Now we're going to go to the state of West Virginia, where in the state of West Virginia right now, the state of West Virginia, the Republican currently has 97% favorable to win. Democrat has 3. The polling data in the state of West Virginia right now, the Republican, the only poll that's been done is up 14. That would actually be likely Republican, but that's interesting. But West Virginia, no surprise, goes in the safe Republican column. We're now down to our final 4 governor's races, starting with the state of North Carolina. North Carolina is going to be a big Democratic win right now, where Democrats have 95% chance to win, the Republicans have 5%. It was close for a while, and then a very big scandal broke out in this race regarding the Republican candidate, and it's been the Democrats' race to lose ever since. This is going to be a Democratic big win. Looking on the polling side of things, a 14.3% win for the Democrat over the Republican right now. This actually would be a likely Democratic race since it's under 15%, but certainly trending towards a big Democratic win on election night. North Carolina goes in the safe Democratic column. Now we have the state of Delaware. The state of Delaware on the Polymarket odds currently has Democrats at 97% chance to win. Republicans have a 2% chance to win. As for the polling data, I expect this to line up relatively closely at Democrat plus 19. That would also be over 15. That would be safe Democrat. Poly market in the polls aligned there. Delaware goes safe Democrat. Our last two governor's races now, we have Vermont and New Hampshire. In the state of Vermont, the Republican, the incumbent governor Phil Scott, is favored to win with 98%. The Democrat only has 1%. This is going to be a big Republican win in Vermont, no surprises. And the polling data has Phil Scott up 28%. That is a safe Republican win in Vermont. Oh, that should be Republican, not Democrat. Now New Hampshire, the most contested governor's race up in this election cycle, and the poly market actually shows it very, very close. At Republican 55, Democrat 45, the Republican being Kelly Ayotte, Democrat being Joyce Craig. This is a very, very close race, very, very close. 55 to 45 is under the 60% threshold, which I have to have it as a lean Republican or Democratic margin. 55 to 45 is very, very close. Poly market does have it as a lean, but based on the numbers, that would be a tilt according to the rankings. Looking at New Hampshire in the polls right now, Kelly Ayotte is up by 1.4% over Joyce Craig, so that is a lean Republican ranking, but it is very, very close, very, very narrow margin. Based on that 55-45, we would put the New Hampshire governor's race into the tilt column. So those are the poly market odds reflected onto the 2024 governor's map. Republicans finished with 8 governor seats, Democrats finished with 3. Not really any surprises here other than New Hampshire being very, very close and very competitive, which isn't really a surprise either, seeing as that's a very contested race. So that's an interesting exercise to do, seeing as I don't make too many videos about the political markets, so this is a very, very interesting one that I wanted to do. In the meantime, I'll just show you some election results really, really quick of the governor's races. 2020 New Hampshire plus 31 for Sununu, Vermont in 2020 is 41, North Carolina 4.5, West Virginia 33, Delaware 20.8, Indiana 24.5, Missouri 16.4, North Dakota 40.5, Montana 12.9, Utah 32.6, and Washington 13.4. That was the last time most of the states were on the ballot. New Hampshire and Vermont were on the ballot. In 2022, though, because they do every 2 years, not every 4 years. 2018, New Hampshire and Vermont, 7 points for the Sununu and Scott, 14.9. And now in 2016, the last time all of these races, or the second to last time they're all on the ballot, we had a special election in Oregon. That usually doesn't happen, but that also happened. Washington was 8.8 for the Democrat, Montana 3.9 for the Democrat, actually. Utah 38 for the Republican, North Dakota 57.1 for the Republican, Missouri 5.6 for the Republican, Indiana 6 for the Republican, West Virginia 6.8 for the Democrat, who switched to become Republican. North Carolina, very, very close, 0.22 for the Democrat. And Delaware, 19.2 for the Democrat. Vermont, 8.7 for the Republican. And New Hampshire, 2.3 for the Republican. So there's actually a decent track record of the states voting different ways. And a lot of them, like Montana and like in West Virginia and North Carolina. So that's very interesting to watch. But that is the poly market to the 2024 governor map equivalent. That would be Republicans at 8, Democrats at 3, with the only really close race in the United States, according to the election markets, being the state of New Hampshire. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to give this video a like, click subscribe, share with all your friends and family. I hope to see you in a future video. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a like. And if you really liked it, please remember to click the subscribe button. And make sure you turn post notifications on so you always get notified when I post a new video. That way you never miss one. Also, please remember to share this video with your friends and family if you really, really, really like the video. And remember to stay tuned because I'll be posting at least one video every single day leading up until Election Day. So I'd really appreciate it if you keep coming back and watching those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.